Declan Donnelly has said Hayes "beyond devastated," as his darling brother died aged 55 after being rushed to hospital with a mystery illness. Dermot Donnelly, a much-loved Roman Catholic priest based in the family's native northeast, was being treated at North Durham Hospital after collapsing in his Newcastle parish. It's understood that Donnelly was extremely unwell following the incident, with parishioners urged to pray for his well-being during their next congregation. The Saturday Night Takeaway and Britain's Got Talent presenter, 46, wrote on Twitter, "I am heartbroken to tell you that my darling brother Fr Dermot, at Tweeter Priest, sadly passed away this afternoon. We are all beyond devastated. Thank you for your messages of sympathy and support. They are appreciated." The Diocese of Hexham and Newcastle confirmed the news that Father Dermot Donnelly died peacefully in hospital on Friday afternoon. A statement from the diocese said, "It is with great sadness that we have to inform you of the death of Fr Dermot Donnelly, who died peacefully this afternoon in hospital. This has come as a great shock to all of us. Please pray for the repose of his soul and keep his family, especially his mother, in your prayers at this difficult time." A spokesman for Declan said, "It is with great sadness that we confirm the death of Fr Dermot Donnelly, who died peacefully this afternoon in hospital surrounded by his family and close friends. We ask for the utmost privacy for the Donnelly family at this difficult time." Hexham and Newcastle Bishop Robert Byrne said he will be greatly missed in the diocese for his sterling work with youth on both a diocesan and national level. He added, "He was a good and faithful priest." St. Joseph's Church in Stanley will be holding a special gathering at 6 p.m. on July 8 to pray for Fr Dermot. Donnelly was a regular visitor to his brother's traditionally London-based shows. While the presenter travelled to the northeast frequently to attend Mass and visit the youth projects which had been a labour of love for the priest since the 1990s. Following his hospitalization. A statement from Stanley, Dipton.